I'm Aden Matthews.
And I'm Zach Snyder.
And welcome back to another YouTube podcast, the one-stop shop for anything and everything related to YouTube.
Yeah, that's cool, YouTube. No one cares. This is now the King of the Hill podcast.
Yo.
We're reviewing every episode of King of the Hill.
What's your thoughts on propane, Zachary? Do you prefer it over charcoal? Are you more of a charcoal boy? Like, where do you stand on the grilling?
It's a little tough because I feel like charcoal is probably better for the environment. But honestly, I actually have done no research on the topic, so I could be talking at my ass right now.
Yeah, I think propane is actually, because it's a gas as opposed to coal.
It's propane versus charcoal environmental.
Usually people just prefer a taste, but I'm glad you're looking out for the earth right now.
I'm thinking of the earth. While it is fairly obvious that charcoal puts out more particulate matter when burning, it also gives off about 2 times more carbon dioxide emissions than propane gas. You were right.
Yeah.
You were right. Well,
because sometimes propane's referred to as natural gas, and people prefer natural gas over coal. But it's an easy mistake to make, and I myself am a big King of the Hill aficionado, so I would know these things more than you have for sure.
I'm glad to know that now I can make better decisions next time I go and grill. That's very helpful.
I think propane is also slightly more expensive as well.
That makes sense.
But you know, you get what you put out, or something to that effect. Anyway,
you get what you pay for, right? Yeah.
Anyway, welcome back to the podcast, everybody. We're doing the classic Your Week on YouTube, as always. But before we get into that, we have kind of a big announcement, Zach.
Yep.
A huge announcement to get into.
This is true. People are probably wondering from the title.
Our sponsor today, Awesome Creator Academy, with the YouTube Starter Kit. If you're getting started on YouTube and have a little bit of money to throw around, why not check out the YouTube Starter Kit for $99? You get over $1,500 of value and dozens of downloads from templates for advanced YouTube thumbnails, channel artwork, end cards, lower thirds, royalty-free background music, fonts, and more. Pay one price and have unlimited access to future downloads as they come out. Check out the link in the description or the show notes, and in doing so, you'll be supporting another YouTube podcast.
Exactly. Big announcement. And an even bigger announcement.
Oh?
Is if you don't have $100, but you still want to support the podcast, you can become a supporter on Anchor. Become a financial supporter of $1, $5, or $10 a month. We'll read your name on the podcast and do the podcast more consistently for the next 10 weeks.
Thank you to our sponsor, Awesome Creator Academy, Patreon, and everyone else who supported the show over the years. Now, on to the really, really, really big announcement this time. The one that Zach actually put in the title. We're in the YouTube podcast.
It's over.
It's official. This is the last episode. We're quitting to talk about King of the Hill, propane, charcoal, maybe throw in a little bit of Cleveland show in there when King of the Hill gets kind of slow. I know the show's over, but you know, we still need to change it up, add some variety every now and then.
Palate cleanser, you know?
A little bit of a palate cleanser. But no, after what, 4 years? Close to 4 years? We started back in 2017.
2017, yeah.
Late 2017. After 4 years, close to 100 episodes, we are officially ending the podcast. Not this episode, not right now. That part was a joke. We're actually going to be ending on episode 100. So that gives you a little bit of time to suggest some final topics and listen to the couple episodes, and gives me and Zach an opportunity to end out the podcast on a good note. But yeah, I'm sure that's big news for all of you who are still listening. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been weird because we haven't told anybody else that we're ending the podcast. I think I mentioned it to Jay one point, and that's pretty much it. So I know this is a shocker. I feel like we've been really consistent in 2021. It's been our best year for the podcast, but it's also been, we feel like we've spun our wheels enough. We've kind of come to a natural ending of the podcast. And so we're giving it these kind of last 10 episodes to, like you said, end it properly, give it a, we don't want to just end it now and it not have a full-on conclusion. So
just dip randomly in the middle of the night.
Right.
We're gone. See you later.
I think that's what's cool about what we're doing too, because I know you and I have done a lot of different projects over the years, and usually what happens is one of two things. Either we just stop doing it and it's just done without a moment's notice, or we're done for a few months and then we come back and we kind of do it again, and then we come back, and then break and then back on, off. This will be cool to have a finality to it, which is something that both of us have been trying to do more of in the past couple of years.
It'll be really cool when it's all said and done and we do the final 100th episode and be able to look over the entire backlog of all the episodes and all the shit we talked about and kind of appreciate it for what it is. It's not going anywhere. It's still going to be on YouTube and Anchor for all time, pretty much, unless one of those services breaks down. And you'll be able to listen to it for years to come in case you want our opinions on literally any random YouTube topic. We've pretty much covered the majority of them at this point.
True.
But no, this isn't a sad thing for me. This isn't a, oh no, we're dropping something random. I'm not going to feel bad about it. In fact, I kind of brought it up to Zach first of the idea of, if we want to end the podcast, let's end it on a proper note, give people time to digest it, and have a finished project under our belts that we can point people back to as something that we did for 4 years and make it worthwhile, not quit, but
Exactly.
finish it properly. Which, astute listeners of the podcast might have been noticing that we've been hinting at that for the past couple episodes now. Because we've known for about at this point, a month, close to a month.
A couple of months, yeah.
It's been a minute. So
Yeah.
every now and then, me and Zach in an episode will drop a little bit of a hint and be like, yeah, this isn't the only project that's ending this year. We're there's some other things that we're closing some chapters on, and I doubt many people were guessing YouTube podcasts was one of them. But it is. But it's mutual. We're both happy to do it. We're both happy to properly end it. And I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy these next 10 to 11 episodes a lot. Because it pretty much means from this point out, we can kind of just, do whatever the fuck we want. Not that we haven't been already, but really just...
Yeah.
Really just enjoy these last couple episodes and not have to feel stressed or worried about them.
It's a celebratory thing for me.
Yeah.
It's, we've spent so much time talking on this podcast about our weeks and our YouTube career, our life. A lot that has gone into it. Some things that we regret, some things that we're really happy about, which I'm sure you guys will hear about that in the coming weeks. But it's more than anything. I'm just really looking forward to having an ending to a project that I feel really good about, and it's been fun. I like talking to you every week, and that was kind of when we were talking about ending the podcast to begin with. There was definitely a little bit of me that was I feel like we could do this for forever, just because you and I naturally have this kind of chemistry where we can bounce back and forth on topics, and it's really fun. But who's to say we can't do that in another project down the road,
Yeah, I was going to say either me and you will just do another podcast about something else, and probably more importantly, me and you are still going to talk about YouTube, just not in the context of a produced show where our thoughts are going in every week and we have to, manage those and present them in the best way. YouTube podcasts, essentially, before it was even a show, was just a back and forth DMs about YouTube and the platform and things that are changing. So in a way, it's come around full circle where once it ends, it's just still going to be me and Zach talking about YouTube and Twitch full circle, just DMing each other. But it won't be a podcast, and we don't have to form it to be a show, So
yeah,
I feel like it'll be the best for both of us, where we're still going to be able to talk about whatever we want, but not as a podcast. And if we do want to make another podcast about something else, a topic that isn't as stressful to talk about, isn't as stressful to find topics about, one that doesn't necessarily revolve around drama and other people, like, we'll do that. We'll do that whenever we can.
Definitely.
But we're not making promises, obviously, and we're just sort of taking things one step at a time.
Yeah, I agree. It's fun to talk about YouTube at times, and then other times it's almost a chore. You know, we got like the newest YouTube drama that we feel like we have to cover because it's important to everybody. But then in like 2 months, it's not that important anymore. There's kind of that aspect to it. And then also, I think when I talked about ending my personal podcast, which we can talk about a little bit more in a bit, because I have ended it now. When we were talking about that, I was mentioning how I don't really like to talk about kind of the entrepreneurial side of my life as much on the internet anymore. And, that's all this podcast is. It's talking about the day-to-day YouTube grind, and I don't personally feel like I get enough. I don't personally feel like I put enough value into those discussions as it used to feel like. And hopefully people have still gotten some kind of value from the podcast over these 100 episodes that we'll have when it's over. But it's felt like such a natural stopping point, and I think that's a good thing.
We had other ideas, right? We were planning on doing interviews for a long time. We were planning on doing channel reviews and like video reviews for a long time. But both of those options, number one, felt like a lot of work, right? And this podcast has always been Zach DMing me at a random time being like, hey, you want to record YouTube podcast? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then we do. And then we don't have a topic. And we just kind of like, we do it on short notice. Zach edits it on short notice. This has never been a podcast with a ton of prep work and research and all that. The early episodes kind of were. I remember the early episodes had like bullet point outlines that you used to make. Where we would, like, go from one to another. And that's just wild to think about 5 years later, given what this podcast is.
It is really funny.
But it's essentially meant that, if we can't do either of those because it's a lot of work and involves other people and involves a big community effort, which this podcast never really has, it's meant that the past couple of episodes has either been, number one, about news, which comes and goes, right? Or two, like you said, entrepreneur, personal stuff, which can get very tiring to talk about. We've mentioned before how some of our maybe least favorite episodes, I guess, or episodes that go on for a really long time are those very sad, sort of personal, kind of like weirdly not even about YouTube. And the idea of doing that every other week, news isn't around, is not fun for anybody, especially our mental health, especially for us, but
exactly. We've spun our wheels. I think we've kind of talked about everything we felt that was important to talk about, and I think if I'll leave more of this discussion for next week. I was going to talk about, like, we had been more consistent early on, maybe it would have taken off a little bit better and everything, but, like, to be honest, that was 4 years ago, and we were still very new to a lot of things. Podcasting was not necessarily either of our strong suits when we started this.
No, not at
all.
Not at all.
It's been a learning curve also.
And I think that's been the cool thing is you can see not only our technical proficiency in talking and explaining ourselves about YouTube and online content creation culture, but you also have seen a bit of chemistry between me and Zach get better as we're able to, like, talk off each other better and go from point to point. I remember early episodes of the podcast were just sort of, one of us would say a point and then we'd be quiet for 5 seconds and then we'd have to wait for the other one to be like, oh, you want me to go in now? Because we were too afraid of interrupting each other.
Yeah.
Nowadays we interrupt each other all the fucking time, and Zach's like, all right, sure, I'll put it in here. He don't edit it. Like, fuck it. We'll just cut each other off if we got something to say. But that came from doing literally at this point almost 90 episodes of this podcast, and LHG had a little bit to do with that. The Smash video, right, was kind of the first step in that. There were a lot of projects me and Zach did, but I think more than any of them, it was this podcast that improved our on camera, even though we're not on camera, our online sort of chemistry that we have of bouncing off each other and spitting ideas out.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's definitely part of me that wanted to edit the podcast, but nobody got time for that. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Nobody. We got too many projects, too many other things we're doing. But you're absolutely right. I think that's been the really cool thing about this podcast is we've both gotten better at presenting ideas about what it is we do, and then also like we can talk to each other about certain things a lot better than we could early on. And it's funny because I remember we would get on these podcasts and we talk about YouTube, and it always felt disjointed or like, oh, I could have said something better here or whatever. And yet, like, you and I will be in a call at 3 a.m. and we'll be talking about YouTube, and it's basically an episode of the podcast that wasn't recorded.
100%. We have like if we had recorded those, we'd have like several lost episodes. We'd have like 130 or something by the end of
Definitely. No, a lot of those got depressive or a little too introspective or whatever. So glad that they're not episodes. Right. It was also like 3 a.m. No energy, just kind of vibing.
For sure.
But no, yeah.
All in all, like there's some projects that we've had to end because it wasn't working out, or there have been projects that had like no potential or future, so we just kind of ended them, or we quit them randomly and maybe decided to come back months later. I want to be explicitly clear here in saying that this podcast was not a failure, that we gained so much shit out of it, that we produced some of our best content, and we're ending it on a finale, on a note worthy of a podcast like this. And we're going to have fun doing the next couple of 10 episodes, and we invite you all to listen to them and engage in them and give us topics and ideas and stuff. But I'm really proud of what we've done with this podcast, and I consider it a success, even though it's ending. I have no ill will or no regrets toward any of this, so don't feel like we're ending it or giving up on it or anything like that. No, we're really happy with what we've done. We just, go out while you're on top, right? That's always the phrase, like go out on top rather than dragging it out for another 5 years where it gets to be miserable or something like that. So.
And that's what's really cool is we have done it for 4 years. We are going to have 100 episodes. And how many podcasts can say they went that far,
Yep.
A majority of podcasts in after like episode 3. So, yeah, exactly. Like the closest we have is your Aden on Anchor, which I think will get up to 100 episodes. I don't doubt it.
But even then, a lot of those are 30 minutes less.
Right.
I'm talking about random shit. There isn't really a topic there. Like, YouTube podcast was an undertaking, man. It took some work to get to where we're at.
Not easy
For
sure.
Breaks for like 6 months, and we had like barely any topics week to week, and like you were always trying to do Yin, and I was trying to do Blue Couch Productions and 8 other things usually. I was in college for a bit of this podcast,
Yeah.
Whew.
I was too. I was in college for about a year and a half while we were doing this. Close to 2 years. Yeah, so a lot has changed, a lot of good things, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy to be ending it on a high note. It'll be cool. But with that said, please do let us know topics, questions, comments, anything that you want to see done in the next 10 episodes, because we do still need topics. We're not, we don't have all that planned out yet. So anything that you want to see on the podcast before it ends, please let us know. And with that said, how was your week on YouTube?
All right, this is your week on YouTube episode.
Yeah, we still gotta do that.
Kind of forgot about that part. I'm gonna keep it short because there's not much, honestly.
Sure.
As of recording this is August 31st, and we kind of announced that we were like ending the podcast. Today's a big day of ending something as well. The OG Blue Couch Productions channel, its final day. Tomorrow it'll be gone. It won't be there anymore, and I'll essentially start from scratch again, working on the new channel. I made a bit of decision regarding what I wanted to do for content for that. I think last time we talked, the idea was simply going to be that I was going to re-upload everything. And I still might re-upload some videos, but I'm much more on the path of remaking stuff instead.
Right.
This just feels like a really good time to like invest myself in the personal channel. And with a lot of other projects ending and me feeling really creative right now and like in a good mood and a good mindset, I'm kind of like, yo, fuck it. Let's just actually remake a lot of these videos and just make them better. Because I know they can be done better because they've been released 3, 4, 5 years ago. So that's sort of the plan now. I want to remake the majority of the catalog. Obviously not everything. For the first couple of weeks, it's going to be the Zelda video and the Mario video, just because those literally came out a week or two ago. So there's no really like need in remaking them. 30 for 30 will also mostly still probably be intact. I just got to decide what month I'm putting all those out on. But aside from those, really, like, I kind of just want to remake everything else from the top 10s back to the video games, Star Wars, MCU, whatever I want. And if I want to make a new video in between that shit too, that's fine as well. Really, the goal above all else, whether I'm remaking or just re-uploading stuff, is to have a video out every Friday. And push comes to shove, I'm gonna have a video out every Friday. You just don't know what I'm gonna do, right? That's basically what I'm saying. I'm not sure what video you're gonna get on Friday, but there will be said video on Friday. But it's kind of a little bit of a bittersweet day, having this be the last day of Blue Couch Productions being publicly up and stuff. So kind of an end of an era a little bit on that front too.
Yeah, we've talked at length about it, both on the podcast and off. And I know you were having a lot of scheduling issues. You were like, do I want to upload everything the way it is? Do I want to remake some of it? Do I want to make all new shit? And you were like on the fence about all of it. But it feels like you've got a solid idea of what you want to do now. And it'll be cool as a longtime Aden viewer to see a lot of those older videos be remade. I'm really looking forward to that.
And you'll hear my progress on it for these last
10
episodes of the YouTube podcast. How it's going, what I've decided to change, where we're at. About 16 subs on the new channel, so feel free to go check that out. The links in the description of this podcast won't be updated for a while, because I figured for all the places that just have the typical Blue Couch Productions link, so not like a series of random characters at the end, but actual youtube.com/Blue Couch Productions. Mm-hmm. Once I get the URL at 100 subs on the new channel, it should theoretically use that link.
It should be the same link, yeah,
for the new one. So I'm like, well then I'll just wait till I get to 100 subs and keep the links the same for now. If it doesn't, oh boy, I'm gonna go on a tear. But rest assured, I've updated every major link on Discord, Patreon, Linktree, other socials that don't use that Blue Couch Productions link. The only ones I think are literally this podcast and LHG. LHG uses the Blue Couch Productions link. But I figured they'll be updated in time, so we'll get to that when we get to it. But that's the major thing, for sure. Not too much else of anything really outside of that. Is there anything?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Pretty much, I need to reset up my stream setup, because I reset my computer, got rid of everything, just because I was I'm going to do some spring cleaning. But one of the side effects of that was I lost my OBS profile and all my shit. So I need to like take a day just to sit down and remake literally my entire OBS scene again and like get that straight. And the good news is, like, I at least have the stream starting, the be right back, and the stream ending, like the 3 major scenes. But it's just recreating, just chatting, all the stream label shit, the fucking 16:9 gameplay scene, 4:3. So that's still going to be a little bit of work, and OBS is always a pain in the ass when it comes to like making new scenes. But I promise
it is.
Once I get it saved, I'm going to make an actual profile that's saved that I could just put into any OBS and not have to go through this again. But I'm a bit of an idiot. I'm a bit of an idiot when it comes to that. So that's why streams haven't been happening. I've wanted to do them. It's just, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, Zach. It's a whole day.
I get it. I gotta
It's a whole day.
I gotta take a day and go through my hard drives and shit and reorganize shit because I got things in all the wrong places, and I get it, man. I get it.
I guess the last thing I should mention is I'm editing for Painfully Honest Tech again.
You are.
It was kind of a bit of a down period where he kind of like didn't want, he didn't have money rather to have people to edit stuff, but he hit me back up, sent me a video about spatial audio. I edited that together, and as of recording, I got two more to edit. So we're back on the editing train. I really like doing it. It's fun. I like it. Just rough cuts and stuff, but still I always feel like I'm learning something new and kind of building a relationship and working on doing editing on the side.
There you go.
It's been fun.
That's cool, man. I'm glad that's going well for you.
Hell yeah. That's pretty much it. How has your week been, Zach?
You know, it kind of sucked, but it's over, so who cares?
Next
I'm
week.
just kidding. No, it's been good. I finally got a video out, so I had like a really good, what was it? Was it like end of June, beginning of July? A homie put out like 3 videos every Friday or every Sunday back to back, starting June 20th. Had the Disney video, it was really cool. Had the damn candy aisle video, that was really fun. And then had the iCarly video. And that one was kind of an okay video. I quite liked how it turned out, but it was just like nothing super special. My problem was I started working on a video that's kind of been in production for like a year. I watched 53 movies that all got a nominee at the 2020 Oscars. So I've been watching these movies since like April of 2020. I kind of finished watching them at the beginning of this year, and then I didn't finish the script, and it just kind of sat in my Google Drive for a while. But as I was putting together the Candy Isle and the iCarly video, I was like, well, I need another video to come after this. What's one that shouldn't take as much work because I've already done all the prep for? Well, the prep wasn't the problem. It was putting 53 movies into my Adobe Premiere and trying to find all the clips, making these like title cards so that it has like all the nominees they got. Damn thing took like practically like 2 months to fucking make, because it was literally like 2 months in between, almost 2 months in between major episode of the show and this one. Quite frustrating, but I've done a lot of client work in between, so you know that's my go-to excuse there. But I'm glad it's over. I really like the video, and I'm looking forward to making more videos like it, because obviously I want to do that with every year there's been Oscar nominees, because that's not psychotic at all.
So at this point, right, there's 2020 Best Picture videos, right? Each movie individually. Then there's the Best Pictures ranked video, right?
Yes.
And now, to finish the trilogy, we have every damn film that got nominated for 2020 in a video.
Correct.
So, like, if you really wanted a 2020 Oscars binge for whatever reason, Zach's probably done more content on it than any other sane motherfucker out there. So
I got you covered for sure. Probably about 2.5, 3 hours.
You're like the source now on that specific year.
Well, I've been looking around for other people that's done like the full ranking of all of the movies that were nominated, and I can't find a single channel that's ever done that for any year. Usually it's we're going to talk about the movies in individual videos, or we're going to talk about the best pictures and rank those. Those are the big videos that get seen and made. But I haven't seen any other channels that's talking about like all 53 movies for any year. Like there's just none of them out there. So I would love to be that channel at some point, to have like this massive catalog of here's Zach talking about 40 to 50 movies for each year, because I find it really interesting. I think I find a lot of like documentaries or short films that I never would have watched had I not done the video. And plus it lets me, talk about the most popular movies of that year as well.
Hell yeah.
But they do take a lot of time, so I'm not promising when the next one will come out. But I think going forward, I won't be doing individual best picture videos. I'm not going to do a best picture ranking. I'm just going to do the whole damn thing.
One.
Yeah, because at some point the channel would just turn into an Oscar channel, and I already worry that it has, and half of the channel's catalog is almost that. It's like 40 videos like that.
It's a lot.
So,
it's a lot.
because I've done it for 3 years now. So, but I'm really happy with it. I think it turned out really well.
Let's go.
The other things, I finally set up Voice Meter Banana again.
Yo.
So all of the audio sources are pushed through that properly. I can record anything on OBS and not have the Discord call in the background of my Fall Guys footage. All that shit properly set up, a lot better than it ever has been. So I'm hoping I don't have any issues with it like I did last time.
I haven't. See. I've set that bitch up twice. So. Gucci.
I also earlier today recorded a video with the new camera.
Yo.
So that's
camera
cool.
Arc.
Let's go. I recorded a video about books. Kind of joked about it for a while, and I was like, nah. I want to get more videos out. Why don't I record a video talking about some books I've read in the past year? And I think it'll turn into a entertaining enough video. I got a lot of editing to do on it because it's like a 46-minute recording session. Hoping for it to be like a good 10 minutes, and not much longer than that. The main thing is, I showed you the kind of quality of the video before we recorded, and there's a little bit of work I got to do. I'm recording it on manual, so I got to learn about ISO a little bit more and make sure it's not as grainy as it turned out to be. Fortunately, I don't think the quality is super bad for the video not to go out at all.
Sure.
But if I'm not happy with
worse
it,
on the phone for sure.
There has been, right? That's the thing. There's been worse videos to come out in terms of quality, but if I'm not particularly happy with it, I might just upload it to Patreon or the personal channel and go from there. We'll see.
Hell yeah.
So that's been it. I can't
the week.
think of much else. Yeah, been working a lot, doing a lot of client stuff, playing a lot of Fall Guys with you and Jay.
Sure. Playing too damn much Fall Guys.
Yeah. I started working on a video about the first Call of Duty yesterday.
Yo.
Something that I had played about a year ago, and it got pushed to the sidelines. Looked at the script yesterday, and it was kind of trash, so I'm having to like rework it. But
always be changing. Always be
trying to make things better,
I guess to end this episode too, of if you've only been like a podcast listener, because I know there's a few of you out there who just listen to the podcast and you're gonna be like, oh no, podcast isn't, where am I gonna find you boys? The main way, like literally, that you could support either me or Zach is to literally just check out our main channels. Blue Couch Productions, Your Everyday Nerd. That's kind of just going to be the focus for both of us for a while.
100%.
Not to say we won't do any side projects or podcasts. We're coming up with new ideas practically every week, it feels like. But for the time being, as of August 31st, 2021, or whenever this comes out, the main focus is going to be on the main channel. So please, if you've listened to this podcast and want more of us out there, and you've always heard Zach talk about the new yin but never have watched the new yin, good time to jump in. Good time to jump in on the new Blue Couch Production stuff too. You don't have to know anything about me because we're literally posting the first video first week of September. So now's a really good time to jump in on both of our shit, especially with the podcast ending.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like you said, those are going to be our main focus going forward. Because everything else is kind of either ending or we're kind of putting on the back burner for a little while so we can really focus on our own shit.
Hell yeah.
Which is good. It's something we've wanted to do for a while, so it'll be nice to get a little time back from some of the other stuff we do.
And again, check out the next 10 episodes as well. We're
Yes,
gonna, every week, unless Zach feels like not uploading that week, every week.
Yeah, that's usually how it comes down.
New episode on a specific date and time.
All the episodes will be coming out before the end of the year. So
that's the plan. Yeah.
That is the plan. Every Sunday.
2022, we fucked up. But this year. And we have more than enough time. Zach was saying it was like 8 weeks that we have where we could literally do nothing and still have time to upload the final 10 episodes.
I think it's down to like 7 weeks now, but
we got a buffer is what we're saying. So.
Exactly.
This year is when we plan to have them out.
Give us comments, give us suggestions, topics, all that kind of shit. Anything you want to see on the podcast before it ends, please let us know either in the comments on YouTube or our email, anotherytpodcast@gmail.com. You can also just hit me up on Discord or Twitter. That's fine too.
That works.
All that stuff is in the description and everything. So
you know where we're at.
Yeah. We don't stay hidden yet. I'm planning on going to a hidey hole soon.
Plan on going MIA for several years.
Oh yeah. Gonna go live in
a foreign country.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up in the mountains. I'm a mountain man. That's the plan.
Monk Sack.
Sack.
Let's go.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I said on the podcast, but I was looking into becoming a Tibetan monk one time. It was like 3 years ago. And I realized I couldn't do it because one of the things you have to do to become a monk is to have zero debt. You can't have any debt. So if you owe any money to anybody and you don't have a good credit score, no chances of becoming a monk.
Yeah.
Kind of disappointing.
Honestly, but,
yeah.
You know.
This is what it is. Cool. Well, I've been Zach.
And I've been Aden.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Another YouTube Podcast.
Bye-bye.
Peace. Good riddance.
We can finally start our breastfeeding podcast, Zach. Oh, my real passion.